What is going on, everybody? Welcome back, Trading Learning 101. It is Monday, August 6th, 2018. It is a little after 9:30, and I am currently watching right now U1. It's not up on the scanners, but it is up on the biggest percentage gainers. It doesn't have any volume right now, only 120 shares, but it's just, you can see right here at the bell, it went from 240 up to 360, came back down to 280. Now it's slowly starting to grind its way up on it. The float on U1 it's just under 1 million in volume, so it's looking for a nice move up. There's a lot of stuff popping up right now and then falling right back down. U1 does have a history of spiking, but it's very fast. If I show you right here, you could see it likes to pop up and fall right back down, but it does love to run. These are the types of stocks you gotta be very careful with right here. Let's see what else we got going on. Pre-market, we didn't have much going on pre-market. I only had 2 stocks on my watch list to start the day. One of them was UUU with a nice squeeze.
TCS
With a nice squeeze happening at the 13 EMA and the 200-day moving average. And it's still on watch, but it's just currently falling at the moment. You can see right here at the 13 EMA, it's starting to push through that 200-day moving average, and it got a nice explosion up. But I think it happened a little too prematurely because it all happened after hours and pre-market. But anything's possible. Something could happen to it today still because it is a low float. And then we had, where was it? OXBR was on the list for it's just a low float play, and it was one of the biggest percentage gainers on Friday, so I was looking for this for a continuation today. But this morning, like I've said, we've been having a lot of stuff pop off. TCCO had a nice pop up to almost $6, but it does have news. It has an increase in its Q3 estimated price per share in the sales over a year. So it's a earnings winner. But if you see here, it gapped up. It gapped up a little too high. It went from, almost $4, gaps up to $5.50. And it runs and it hits this 200-day moving average here, and look what happens. It fell right back down, but it could still come up and test that 200-day moving average, but that's gonna throw me off a little bit because that's gonna act as a huge big wall, and that's gonna act as a magnet to pull it right back to it. Whenever these stocks come up to moving averages, they just seem to never like to break them. Also, we had BLNK pop off. So Friday, this just gained all day, and this was just a nice continuation up right here. Had a nice little morning spike from 360 up to 397. It's currently pulling back right now. It may come back down and bounce right off this open and start U-shaping back up. We'll see what happens with that. And CHKE is a nice one right here. This is where a lot of the attention is at currently right now. This is, it has news of it receives 40 million term loan from Gordon Brothers Finance Company to refinance debt and increase liquidity. Shares up 52% pre-market. And this is a good one right here. It has room to run up to the 200-day moving average at $1.40, and it's currently approaching the dollar mark right now. And you can see right here it ran up to pre-market to a high of 75, dropped down, came up, broke through that resistance here, made a new high, came back, found support right around the area of this old resistance, and went right back up. Now it's looking to make its next move up, so we'll be seeing what that does. A lot of stuff popping off this morning. I'm just staying patient, waiting for volume. I really don't want to pull the trigger on anything yet until volume proves itself to me. It looks like NFEC is a little bit gaining too. I was wanting to keep an eye on this because on the daily chart, it just looked interesting to me. Very low float stock, this one. So CHKE right here towards its highs. Let's keep an eye on this one. These past 3 weeks have seemed just like a long time with the earnings season going on. I'm not a big fan really of earnings season because it just takes all attention away from penny stocks. U1's looking to move back up. It's still on the biggest percentage gainer. U1, as you can see right now, it's approaching 10 o'clock. I would wait till around 10 o'clock, 10:30 for potential volume to come into this. Because usually the first hour, half hour of the day, that's when you'll see a lot of the attention and volume at the news. And then once that starts to die off, then around 10 o'clock, 10:30, that's when you'll start to see a lot of low float pumps hit the scanners. So this is looking prime right now for this to start taking off at 10 o'clock, 10:30. If it can just continue to hold higher lows or stay in this area,
PTGX, PTGX,
it'll be
PTGX,
good.
PTGX,
If you don't know what that is,
PTGX,
that's my little
PTGX.
beast mode scanner here. This is my top low float scanner right here. I have this set up from It's like 25 cents to $20. And anything with
PTGX,
big price
PTGX,
moves, it'll start popping off.
PTGX, PTGX, PTGX.
And then here's another one that took off from breaking $5 up to $5.55. So right now we're currently seeing a lot of stuff pop right up and fall right back down because no volume's coming into the market, really.
PTGX, PTGX. TCS,
CHKE's looking really nice. It keeps pulling back and it keeps making its next move.
PTGX, 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 PTGX,
Here goes
PTGX,
CHKE.
PTGX, PTGX. TCS, 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 TCS.
Watch the level 2 here. As this comes up to the resistance, you'll see big orders pop up here. You want to see those get chipped away, and you want to see stacking over here on the bid, big buyers. So you got 3,000, 4,000, almost 18,000 right here at 83.5. 83.5 you want to see get chipped away
BLNK,
or
BLNK,
disappear.
BLNK,
That might just be a big seller hiding his size to scare away
BLNK.
buyers right there. You see how BLNK came right back. Look at that nice
TCS,
U-shape.
TCS, BLNK, 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 TCS, BLNK,
Then look
TCS,
at that right there. You seen
TCS,
BLNK start to
TCS.
pop off a lot, and that took a lot of volume away from CHKE here, and it dropped right back down.
TCS.
Now volume and attention is going over here because this isn't doing anything. See how attention shifts like that? You always got to keep an eye on stuff like that. Like when low float runners are running and running and running and it gets halted, anything else that pops off on the scanner, you got to be cautious because you got to know that all the attention is currently on something that's halted. And if the stock is halted for a long period of time, then you got to think the longer that stock's halted, the more it's going to lose attention.
TCS.
And go to something else. And then when it opens up, it'll start to fall off because it was halted for too long. So you always got to keep them in mind of everything that's going on. If one thing's running a lot, you got to think it's going to take attention away from something else that you may be looking at.
TCS, TCS, TCS. TCS,
I'm seeing
TCS,
TCS pop up a
TCS.
lot. It's a little bit too high for me. But let's see what it is. Yeah, not really much. I mean, it went from 1060 up to 1140. For as much as that's been going off.
Land, BLNK, BLNK,
Hasn't really been moving that much.
Land.
BLNK, as much as it's moved, it just doesn't have really any volume so far. Just over 1 million. Now it's dropping off. That's the thing with these stocks. When they start to move and there's really no volume going into it, when it starts to fall, they fall hard. Now watch, this may start to fall off and the attention might go right back to CHKE unless something else pops up. But let's see if BLNK can hold $4. Even though it's below $4 right now, it's doing a over-under. Currently right now, this is the biggest percentage gainers as we speak right now. And as you can see, there's just really no volume. 1.89 million here, 400,000, 1 million, 100,000. A lot of 100,000s. 1 million on BLNK, 100,000. The top 3 percentage gainers right now all have just a little over 100,000 in volume. So volume's not showing its back yet. We need that one play to go absolutely crazy to bring in volume. Something big to happen. Yeah, see that? Pops right up to 360, falls right off. And when it fell there too, that's about almost $1 drop right there. So that's why it's hard to chase. You don't want to chase these low floats. Now look at that. BLNK is slowly dropping off. Now momentum is slowly starting to come right back into CHKE. Even on the new daily highs, it's all a lot of big floats. I'm not really seeing any low floats. HMNY, that was at like 5 cents. It's at 11 cents now, but that stock's garbage. CHCI did pop up for a second. TCCO, UUU, CHKE, even this is a higher float stock at 13 million. NFEC is still moving up.
ZYNE, ZYNE. ZYNE.
So this is kind of like in a trend line right now.
ZYNE.
Not that.
SPKE, SPKE, SPKE. ZYNE, ZYNE. ZYNE, ZYNE, ZYNE.
CYNE. So this is one of those pot stocks.
ZYNE, 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 ZYNE. ZYNE.
ZYNE, this is something I really wouldn't play that much. As you can see, it's a little higher float for me, 13.5 million, and it's just not having any explosive moves that I like to play. You know, you can see from right here, 592, 585 up to 608, 607. That's not explosive enough for me.
ZYNE, ZYNE.
BLNK still hanging in there. So the top two plays I'm watching is BLNK and CHKE. TCCO needs to come back up over the VWAP. U1, say it needs to come back up over $3. And that's about it for right now. Other than nothing really has volume. CHKE and BLNK are kind of both moving up right now. But watch, once one of these get up to the high, watch the other ones kind of start to fall off. CHKE is in a trend line play. BLNK is right now bouncing right off the VWAP. Could also be forming a head and shoulders here. You got a shoulder here, you got the head here, and it could be almost forming another shoulder right here. Here goes CHKE. There it goes.
CHKE, 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 CHKE,
Very
CHKE.
10,000 seller here at 89 cents. I'm not seeing a lot of buying going through on the times and sales here. You got a 50,000 seller that popped up right there at 90 cents. Let's see if that's going to scare away a lot of people. 49,000 shares.
SPKE, SPKE.
Let's see if he'll pop back up again.
CHKE, 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 CHKE.
There was a 49,000 share seller on here. He popped up. He was just trying to scare away buyers. Now let's see if this will try to test the dollar breakout.
Land, land. Land. Land, land.
Now this is CHKE. This is something that you don't chase when it starts to spiking. You can clearly see it's bouncing off this trend line here. This would be an area that you would want to buy at. And when it pops up like this, you want to sell into these pops for take a profit.
Land.
Let me just turn off the notices real quick. You can see when this starts spiking, nothing's going on BLNK because this has the attention. You gotta keep that in mind when you have multiple stocks in play. CHKE is approaching 5 million in volume. up 105%. And that's got a long way to pull back to this trend line. So let's see if it will pull back. Just have a healthy pullback. I would look for it to pull back at the last resistance to hold as support. So around 86, 85 cents. And BLNK is still grinding on that trend line up. Now BLNK is breaking that trend line. When a stock breaks the trend line, you get out. You don't hold and hope. I don't care if it comes right back up above that trend line and keeps spiking. Majority of the time when it breaks the trend line, it's gonna pull back hard. There it goes again. CHKE popped up real quick to make a new high. Look at the big sellers. You see the big sellers pop or buyers pop up here on the bid? Huge buyers. I didn't see a lot of them go. Look at all those buys right there. But 13,000 right there at 1016. So we got a lot of big buyers here on the level 2. You always want to correlate what's happening on the level 2 with the times and sales. Look at these big buyers pop through. Big buyers popping up on the bids. There's nothing really holding it back on the ask right here. 31,000 seller here at 92 cents. But what you could see too is at like 91.02, yeah, you got 1,000 seller right there. But if you don't see him disappear, then he's hiding his size and he's just unloading. And when you see all those big buyers keep popping up like that, he's hiding his size and he's unloading a huge amount. You always got to keep an eye on stuff like that. It may seem like a lot and a lot to look at, but the more you do it, the easier it will get. You see BLNK here broke the trend line and it did come back up above it, but then now it's failing again. This CHKE, it pops up really, really fast and starts going. out of nowhere, this popped up from like 92 cents up to 96 and then fell right back down. Here goes BLNK. Now it's starting to break the VWAP. Watch, if it breaks the VWAP, it's going to have a huge drop. Everybody's just going to start dumping it. Why? Because everybody that kept buying and buying and buying and buying kept holding it because it didn't break this trend line. And then when it broke this trend line here, they said, alright, this is their emotions kicking in. I got till the VWAP now. That's my backup. And now that the VWAP's starting to break, that's when everybody starts to panic. And they just start dumping it. Here it goes. I seen a 20,000 seller or buyer pop up here, but then he just got wiped out hard. Then you got a 30,000 seller here at almost 93 cents. Now you got a lot of people just dumping it. They're giving up on it. A lot of selling. A lot of selling. And there it goes. Break through the trend line here, or will it hold? This video is going to be a little long, but I thought I'd give you guys a little market action to show you what I do every single day. This is all I do. I look at stocks and I wait. I'm not really liking the conditions right now, and I feel like CHKE already made its move, so I'm not going to chase it. And it looks like BLNK, that's going to be a tough one to play. It's not really, it's really toppy. You know, it's when it broke out from here, it went from $4 up to $4.12. It's not really giving us anything, even though it's still hanging in there. But BLNK doesn't have really any news, I believe. No, it doesn't have any news. So, you know, tomorrow's a new day, and you never know what tomorrow will bring. but I'm not seeing really any volume still. And CHKE and BLNK are just our top plays. And I don't want to chase something that's already up over 100%. CHKE is still fighting at this trend line right here, and BLNK is it's got a lot to go through. It's fighting at that VWAP, but if it's got to break back through that VWAP, then it's got to break back through this trend line, and then it's got a lot of upper hands to break through right now. I do feel like CHKE could test the dollar today. I really feel like it could. But if you go and look at the back history on CHKE, it's got a history of only spiking one day. And then after it spikes that one day, it's done. So that's what would kind of scare me as wanting to maybe watch this for tomorrow to see what it does, but you never know what could happen, you know. It's all about the market conditions. Market conditions are still kind of bad right now, so attention could easily go back to CHKE tomorrow because it is a low priced stock. You can see CHKE claimed that trend line. It proved that that is holding. It's strong. And why did it randomly bounce off this trend line I put here? Because other traders are putting this on their charts as well. And they know when it comes down to this trend line, you buy to hold it. And then now look, it's moving right back up. And this is where I was saying, this is where when it comes down to the trend line, you buy, and now it's moving right back up. And then right now, as it's moving back up, this is where you'd be scaling out of your position as it's moving up like this. Now look, now see that pop to the new high? You don't want to get greedy. You always want to take profits off the table. You're never guaranteed your profits in the market. That's why when you're up, you take them. Because this could have easily moved up, and now it could slam down, and everybody could dump it because it's just been up all day so far. But then you have those long-term holders that don't sell and sell and sell. They just hold and hold and hold. And then when it finally starts to crack that trend line, that's when they start dumping all their shares, and you have everybody dumping at the same time. And that's what caused it to drop so much. And like I said earlier, out of nowhere, you just seen it again. This likes to pop up real fast and fall right back down. This one is a weird one. This market is still showing choppiness. I want really strong breakouts. I like stocks that break out, consolidate, form a wedge or U shape, makes higher lows, and then breaks out again. That's what I like to play. Playing trend lines are cool, but they're more nerve wracking for me. You know, when it comes down to the trend line like that, it's hard to buy. It really is. Because you don't know if that trend line's going to hold. And then when you buy and then it starts to crack the trend line, then your discipline has to kick in and you immediately have to get out of that position and say, all right, that didn't work, get out. But that's hard. And then you end up holding. And then it turns into a big loser. Watch CHKE though. This hasn't broken over $1 since 6-5. So a couple months ago, it was just over $1 and it ran into resistance at around $1.25, $1.35. So that's gonna hold up as resistance. You can see right there, and right there. But I think that's gonna be it for this one, guys. This video is already a little too long. So just goes to show we had UUU pop up pre-market. It isn't doing anything. WMLP finally got unhalted, and when it got unhalted, it dropped down $2, and now it's looking like, you know, it's having this grind up, but nobody wants to touch it because of what just happened. You know, it just got halted out of nowhere Friday in the middle of the day, and then it reopens and it gaps down. So when something like that happens, no one's going to want to touch it. See, it only has 800,000 in volume. And then we got TCCO, had a nice gap up, a little spike, and then now it's just falling off. And BLNK is too choppy. This one's a tough one to play. CHKE is the top play right now. You got, again, U1 had a nice spike. All this was a squeeze. That's all it was. And when this squeeze happened, it happened prematurely, and it happened after hours Friday, going into pre-market this morning. And a squeeze is when an indicator moves up over another indicator, and you'll get a pop up. And they're fast. They're very, very fast. You got to be in and out of them like that. And you can't really limit order in. You got to market order in, market order out. Take your profit, go. And it right when it opened, it jumped from 240 up to 360, right back down. Plain squeezes, and especially very, very low floats, is very, very risky, but can be very, very profitable. I love playing squeezes. And then we had nothing really else going on. So just another really slow day with CHKE being the top play right now. We'll see if anything else pops up later on in the day. Anything can happen. CHKE, I believe this will try to test up towards $1, and it may, power hour be in play to test that $1.35, $1.40 area. And as you can see, it's starting to move up right now. But the market's still not showing volume is back right now. So I'm going to have to take it easy this week, and I'm not going to be aggressive. Monday is a good day to show you what could happen the rest of the week. It's a new month, August. It's the first Monday of the new month. And we're still seeing slow conditions right now. And we need that one play to go big to bring volume back, like I've said multiple times. I can't play slow grinders like this, CHKE. I just don't have the patience. And like I said, I can't play something that's already up over 100%. That's chasing in my eyes. And the float's a little too big for me. Let's see if they'll pop up real fast again and drop back down as it just did right here and right here. Looks like it's going to start heading back down to the trend line here. But, alright guys, stay safe out there. During market conditions like this, it's just good to study and take pictures of these charts and just observe the market. Don't force anything, because if you force trades, you will slowly drain your account. Alright guys, later.